Hi, my name is Elizabeth Arnold, and I'm a will, estate planning, and legacy coach and founder of Sowing Seeds, a consultancy which helps people incorporate what I call the Goodwill approach into their wills and estate plans. The Goodwill approach is the subject of my new book, Creating the Goodwill. It considers the impacts, helps people focus on the impact of their decisions, both financial and personal, on their loved ones. The Goodwill approach grew out of my own experience and my professional experiences, where I've seen families fight for years over wills. First off, my own father died overnight, and I got to live through the impact of his will on my own family. Secondly, as a Harvard Law School educated estate planning attorney in the field, I've seen hundreds of families in litigation over wills. And there's a recurring theme. When people fight over wills, they're rarely fighting over the tax or legal structures. They're fighting over the human issues. And when family dynamics are left unaddressed, wills become ticking time bombs. Just ask anyone who's experienced the death of a parent. Siblings are rarely fighting over some fancy tax shelter or the rule against perpetuities. Nope. They're fighting over who gets dad's power tools, who gets grandma's engagement ring, or whether to replace the orange shag carpet in the house they just inherited together. The Goodwill approach is unique because essentially it turns estate planning upside down by focusing first on the human issues before determining the technical, legal, and financial structures that will best address them. It's organized into what I call the 7 human laws of distribution. So whether you have $50 or $500 million, once these laws are taken into account, choosing the legal and financial structures is a fairly uncomplicated task. So before you fill out any form that your attorney's given you, or the form that's on the estate planning CD that you just popped into your computer, consider these 7 human laws. 1, consider your values. Identify and express your values, your beliefs, your guiding principles, so there is zero confusion about what your loved ones can expect from you and what you expect from your loved ones. Law number 2, face family dynamics. Take an honest look at your own family and face the facts about the people who will be sharing the inheritance. Wills frequently bring unfulfilled emotional needs and unresolved hurts to the surface. It's not just about the money and who gets what. These just symbolize other issues that have little to do with the stuff itself. Issues such as sibling rivalry, such as their relationship with you and their relationships with each other. It's critically important to assess the unique dynamics of your own family before moving on to anything else. Law number 3, start with the small stuff, then on to the big stuff. This is a really important law. Pay attention to the small stuff, like personal and household items, as much as the big stuff, such as real estate, retirement accounts. These family heirlooms have the greatest potential to create the most conflict in the shortest amount of time. Or, by how you address the small stuff, you can set a tone of love and acceptance for all that follows with the big stuff. And the small stuff does what? It creates the most conflict in the shortest amount of time, if not handled as well as it could be. Law number 4. It's football, not fishing, so build a team you can trust. Understanding the confusing roles, responsibilities, and pitfalls of each player designated to carry out your wishes is very important. The executor, the attorney, the trustee, the guardian, and the attorney in fact for such vehicles as living wills. Find out, not everybody needs all of those 5, but of the ones you need, find out the hard and soft skills that are going to go a long way to keeping family peace. And then find out who might fill those roles, and if they want to. Laws 5 and 6 ask you to consider distribution dilemmas faced by many families today. Law number 5, recognize that fare is not always equal. Should you treat all heirs the same? What about your children or your spouse's children from a previous marriage? What about one child who's chosen to be a teacher and still needs a down payment for a house, versus the other child who's an investment banker and rolling in the dough? Equalization sounds simple on paper, but when it comes down to it, you and your family members will each have your own idea of what's fair and what's equal. Law number 6, unleash the power of forgiveness. When faced with the prospect of punishing someone in your will or using your will as emotional blackmail, think long and hard before doing so. You never know. It may come back to haunt your more deserving loved ones for years to come. Use your will as much as possible for peacemaking and not as an emotional weapon. The last law is all about communication, which is the linchpin of the Goodwill approach. Law number 7, Communicate, communicate, communicate. Or, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, or if you bother to say it at all. This law is all about addressing the communication blind spots that can undo the most ironclad legal plan. Do you realize it's an exciting time? We're about to face the largest transition of wealth from one generation to another. And what the studies, recent studies, comprehensive studies have shown that people value most, even more than money, is the life story, are the lessons. What allowed the loved one to get where they are today? What's the family history? It's these intangibles which are being lost. Yeah, the assets will transfer in some way, even if it's back to the government. That's why you have to plan with the assets. But what people are hungering for are these deeper family connections. And that really is at the bottom of the Goodwill approach. Addressing, yes, the financial issues, but giving yourself the greatest gift of all. And making sure that you give it in a way that people understand who you are and why you've done what you've done. That's my hope.